Well, folks, here we are in the tent. We hiked a whopping 0.75 miles in. Got started in the dark and flew in to Las Vegas today. Drove over through Death Valley National Park and then parked a car at Whitney Portal, where we plan to hike out in about a week. And my buddy Mike. Yep, we're doing better than you guys. We're living the dream. Well, it's our first morning out here, and got relatively cold last night. We figure the thermometer said it was about 20 degrees outside of the tent. A little bit warmer inside the tent, about 30 degrees. Had a good day yesterday, kind of a tough day. Had a tough pass to go up over Bishop Pass, and there was a pretty steep climb, and we certainly felt the elevation, certainly felt that messing with our lungs. And well, we're headed up this direction. That's on up toward the Palisade Lakes, and beyond that is Mather Pass. We'll be following along through up in here, up over that pass there, and then we've got another 1,300 feet to climb after that. We're hoping to get to Mather today. This is pretty good climbing, but beautiful scenery around us. Cannot beat the scenery. Peaceful. Absolutely spectacular. I believe this park is the most peaceful park I've ever been in. It's so quiet, serene, relaxing, absolutely spectacular. This is the view from our campsite. We are at the Palisade Lakes, at the foot of the lower Palisade Lake right now, and just a pretty spectacular view all around. There's Mike. We took kind of an easy evening tonight because it was not an easy day, so we laid up and we're having camp here. Got some dinner going on. We're going to be eating our meals here in just a moment, and then get a good night's rest and hope that we can get a little more miles tomorrow. This is our third morning out, and it's Monday morning, and down there at the foot of the furthest lake you see there, these are the Palisade Lakes, and down at the foot of the furthest one is where we camped last night. We got up and got an early start this morning, and we were packing up by about 5:30 or so, and then we were on the trail probably 45 minutes after that. And so we started off in the dark, but it wasn't long before we were able to turn the lights off and be able to just hike. We just now stopped for breakfast, and this was the view from our breakfast spot. Absolutely beautiful, right above the upper Palisade Lake. Right up yonder to that low spot in the center of the screen is where we're headed today. That's Mather Pass. That's about another 1,300 feet in altitude from where we are right now. About 12.1 is that altitude. And right now the sun is just starting to crest up over some of the mountains. We're going to see some sunlight directly upon us before long. And looking forward to another good day. Hopefully we'll do a little better on our mileage today than we did yesterday, because yesterday we didn't get quite as much as what we really wanted to, and so we've got a little bit of makeup to do over the next couple of days. It'd be nice to be able to make up at least some of that today, or at very least not compound it in any way. Just going down Mather Pass. There's Mike on ahead of me there. You can see the switchbacks. Just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Spectacular view. We're in the sun now. It's kind of nice as we're going down. And then we just had lunch up on Mather Pass, which was right up there. And pretty tough climb getting up, but we did make it up. And now we're going to head on down into the valley and head on toward Pincho Pass. It's Tuesday evening, and we've hiked another 13 miles again today. And these last 2 days have been the toughest 2 days of hiking I think I've ever endured. The terrain is difficult, but that's not really the problem. The problem is that I've got some type of sinus, or now it's gone into my chest, and I don't know, it kind of feels like it could be pneumonia. May not be, maybe something else. But whatever it is seriously hampering my breathing. So going uphill, I'm just running out of steam, having to stop every few steps. So it's been really, really hard going the last 2 days. Started off strong today, and thought that was going to be indicative of how I finished. But I finished about like I did yesterday, which is just crawling. So the scenery is beautiful. We still made 13 miles today. We are still technically on schedule. However, the reality is that if I can't be stronger in the next couple of days, the odds of being able to stomp out Whitney are diminishing. It's just the reality is that I don't know, and unless I get better, I don't know that I have it in me. So I'm still pushing through with giving it what I can. That's all I know to do at this point. But it's been pretty tough last couple of days. Well, it's Wednesday morning and we are climbing up. We're climbing up Glen Pass, and this is where we've come from. That down there that you can see in the far distance is the Ray Lakes area. I'm feeling about like I did yesterday morning, which is to say not great, but feeling pretty strong so far. Just a matter of seeing, after we go down on the other side of Glen, seeing how far up Forester Pass I can do. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do that, so the more I can do, the better off, because otherwise I think we'll have a long day tomorrow. So cross fingers and see what happens. Woo! This is the view from Forester Pass. We're at about 13,200 according to the placard here. This also marks the boundary between Kings Canyon National Park and Sequoia National Park. We have up until now been in Kings Canyon National Park and will now hereafter be in Sequoia National Park, which lies beyond. Exceptional views just like everywhere else. We've had a change in our plans. It became apparent early this morning as we were assessing how much longer we had to go and how many more miles and how much time we had, with me just not being able to breathe when I'm going uphill based upon this respiratory whatever it is.
we didn't really feel like we had a choice but to extend our trip by a day. So we were able to get our flights changed via the sat phone. I was very grateful to have that with me for this trip. So we were able to get those changed to 1 day following, which means that we now have 3 days to do what we were trying to do in 2, and which would have just proved impossible. There's just no way. Even though I'm doing poorly, I did get to Forster today, which is a 3,000 foot climb roughly, 2,700 foot. And so if I have an easier day tomorrow, which we plan on having, then I think it's possible that I can get all the way to the top of Whitney. After all of this, coming this far, I'm going to be sorely disappointed if I feel like I just can't do it. That said, it has been some slow going. This has been the hardest hiking I've ever done. Very demoralizing, very frustrating. The upshot is that the scenery remains exquisite. This still is the most peaceful place I think I've ever been. It's just been fantastic. And I want to say a big thank you to Mike, my hiking partner, who's been exceptionally understanding with my slow hiking. He's been not making me lag behind. He's been very understanding and accommodating. Even
Eking out 1 bar of cell service.
He's trying to get a call up there and not having any luck. But he wasn't just me that had to change my schedule. He, of course, had to change his too. And I appreciate his flexibility, willingness to do that. It is Friday night. This was originally our time that we were going to hike out, and I've just been so sick. Wow, this has just really sapped me. I've never done anything so hard. I've never been so exhausted. I've never been so frustrated that the things that I know are well within my capabilities, I just physically can't do them. It's been a really demoralizing trip in some ways. Try to update you some more tomorrow, and maybe even had some good news that I get to go up to the top of Whitney, but that remains to be seen. So good night. Talk to you tomorrow. Well, we are at the Whitney Trail crest. We took a long time to get up here this morning. Got up at 4:30. We were on the trail by 5:30. Stayed down there at Guitar Lake, which you may be able to see in the screen there. Wasn't sure what I was going to do once I made it here to the trail crest. Was considering just calling it and not going up Whitney. But we made good time. I think I'm going to give it a go and see how I do. I can always turn around and come back. And there's not much more uphill for me to do today. So going to give it a whirl and see how I do. So far I feel pretty strong as I have the last couple of days anyway, no worse. This is absolutely spectacular. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I don't have to do it again anytime soon.